What's up, everybody? Welcome back to racingdudes.com. Welcome back to another one of our Kentucky Derby horse profiles presented by the Racing Dudes Betting Bible. Make sure to check it out now. We've got Kentucky Oaks and Kentucky Derby Betting Bible available for pre-sale. Then the picks come out of the week of the race. So it should be a lot of fun there as we look to crush the Derby once again. All right, let's get to Pavlovian. That's who we're going to talk about in this video here. And first thing that'll really jump off the screen at you, 10 lifetime starts, 2 first, 4 seconds, 1 third, three starts this year, 1 first, 1 second, 1 third. You don't see 10 anymore with these horses. Usually it's 3, 4, 5 starts, but kind of a little bit of an old school horse here with Pavlovian. He kind of got to wade through his races because a lot of them are really meaningless when it comes to the Kentucky Derby. You're not really worried about sprints and stuff like that. You're worried about how he does on a route of ground. California bred as well, kind of cool. We'll get to the breeding in a second. Let's look at the screen here. Look at that, a nice full page. I love that. Like I said, a lot of this stuff is pretty meaningless when it comes to the Kentucky Derby. I'll kind of stop when we get to something that matters, but you do want to go through it. Second in a maiden special weight at Santa Anita, broke the maiden in his second start. Second in the Best Pal, that was an open stakes there that he tried, and then 7th in a stakes at Del Mar, 2nd in an allowance, didn't finish in a stakes at Del Mar, another open stakes there. Then tried to California bred company here, 4th in a stakes at Los Alamitos, 3rd in the California Chrome Cal Cup Derby, and then all of a sudden the light bulb comes on for Pavlovian, who had 8 races where there wasn't a whole lot to look at. They take him to Sunland to run in the Sunland Derby, and for whatever reason, he decides, I'm going to go towards the front. A horse that had been towards the back of the pack in a lot of his races. He goes to the front, and he takes him all the way around there. He's a close photo finish win over Express Kid there in the Sunland Derby. So there's a victory, and that got him on the Kentucky Derby trail for sure. After that, he goes to the Louisiana Derby next, where I was skeptical he could kind of match what he did in that race in Sunland. And he almost took him gate to wire. Goes out to the front again and got beat. Narrow defeat to Emerging Market, a horse that very highly thought of for Chad Brown. Swoops up and gets him right at the wire. But boy, Pavlovian fought him all the way to the finish. Let's look at the pedigree, because it's certainly not a Kentucky Derby type of pedigree for sure. I did mention he is a Cal bred. He's by Pavel. Pavel was a horse that Doug O'Neill trained that honestly he had some decent races and kind of had some upside. Never really, won like the big time races. And by a Bellamy Road mare. Look, it's not really like okay, let's go 1.25 miles in the Derby type of pedigree, but also I think going a route is fine. I don't think this horse is just unbelievably bred to get 1.25 miles, but I also think he'll get it. I think he'll stay on. You saw him at 1 mile and 3/16 Louisiana Derby. He kept running, just got beat late, but he kept running for sure. You think about running style with this horse. It could fit well. We still don't know what the pace is going to look like. It's kind of up in question as of right now. There's a lot of horses that want to come from off of it. That could make Pavlovian dangerous. If he can get out in front, specifically get out in front of kind of the foreign shippers that are coming in, maybe he's the one that's in front, and maybe when they turn for home, he's the one they've got to catch. I think that's possible. You've certainly seen his last 2 races when he's went to the front. He's been a very good horse. I can't imagine the plan's going to be anything but send him and hope he can get there. So, look, very interesting to see what Pavlovian does here. I think his running style obviously is one that if there isn't a lot of pace, it could be pretty dangerous to maybe take him a long ways. As far as the negatives go of Pavlovian, I think, the biggest one is just 10 starts, 2 wins. So he doesn't win a ton. He did, kind of run a pretty darn good race in the Louisiana Derby. He ran okay at Sunland too, but both those races come back just a tad slow. I'm not 100% sold on Emerging Market for the Derby for sure, as in I don't really have him in that top flight. So it's hard for me to have Pavlovian kind of in the top flight of contenders as well. But, those negatives could be outweighed by a perfect trip. Like if he gets a great trip and gets out to the lead, who knows? He could take him a long way. Final verdict for me, not one I'm going to use as of right now. I would check back though race day, or excuse me, race week, I should say, because I will kind of look at this horse and look at the pace, see where he draws, see who else ultimately enters the race. And if you think it's going to be kind of a slower pace, he is one that could hang around and at least get a piece of things. Right now, I just find that a little bit hard to believe. But hey, if we get there and it all works out, maybe he can stay around and get third or fourth at a big number. So, but right now, not a ton of interest in Pavlovian in this year's Kentucky Derby. All right, that'll do it for this video. Hit the like button if you like it. Subscribe if you really like it. Want to get alert anytime we do videos like this. And most importantly, stay tuned to the channel for more Kentucky Derby news.